or one of the pilots says, we've got a problem with number 2 engine. We should head back to base or head for the nearest bit of land if it's serious. You know, they're the experts on all that. I just say, okay then, that's what we do. You know, and I'm making decisions like, when we get to the top end of Norway, what kind of search are we going to do? Mm-hmm. You know, what are we searching for? A submarine, a warship? Different kind of searches, you see. If we're doing search and rescue, different kind of searches again. We swap over every 3.5 hours. It doesn't matter which seat I sit in, I'm still in charge. Okay, so we control all the weapons here, and if my second nav blogs, he's done a 6-month course, but I'm sitting there, I still make the decision what kind of weapons we're going to drop. And the kind of weapons we have are 3 torpedoes here for attacking submarines underwater. Okay, and we have a couple here which I'll talk about in a minute. There we have 12 depth charges, and for those who can see it, let me just get this. Where is it somewhere? For those who can't see it, I've got a clockwork kitchen timer here. All right, and it's guaranteed to work every time. Clockwork, you see. There we are. I press the red button and wind it up like. There we go. That's never going to fail. And the depth charges, I set those up as 2 attacks of 6 depth charges at a time. They only have a kill range of about 20 feet. These are Second World War depth charges, so you know, it's got to get pretty close to a submarine to actually make a hole in it. Anyway, yeah, with this timer here, I set a time delay for the 6 that I'm going to release in one attack. Now there's a missing contact here, but if you imagine this, I've wound up to this sort of position here, and when the pilots do daytime attacks, now daytime attacks, here they are with the bomb doors open, the scanner, the radar scanner's down, a pair of 20mm cannon in the nose, he's pretending to shoot. This is our training radar boy. Okay, we do radar homings for 4 hours on this with all the radar operators, 4 senior NCOs and the officer in charge. They all take turns at doing radar homings and guiding the pilots in. And in daytime, then the pilots do attacks on this. We don't use real depth charges, of course. We have these little practice bombs here, okay, which go off with a bang, a puff of smoke and a flash. And underneath the back of the camera, back of the aircraft, we've got cameras which the routine nav selects down, and any time the pilot or the bomb aimer hits the weapon release, a photograph is automatically taken by the cameras there. Okay. Anyway, when the pilot, shall we say, in the daytime, it drops down to 100 feet, and this big lumbering giant is pretty low. All right, that bit there, 100 feet, and then hits the weapon release. This clockwork timer now starts winding round, and it swipes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and drops them. If that's a submarine on the surface, they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, spread over 100 yards. Mm-hmm. And I hope that one of them gets within about 20 feet. Okay, they're not very good, but that's what we had. And we have this old saying of you fight with what you got, not what you wish you had. You know, it's no good saying, "Oh, the Americans, we are not Americans." This is what we've got. You know, we can't afford anything better, or some such. Anyway, yeah. So that's daytime attacks of something you can see. It could be a submarine on the surface that we've caught by surprise. It could be periscopes going through the water, or where. Oh, you've missed some of my talk. That grey equipment there is what we call the ESM. It's got this aerial on the roof, like a spark plug, big spark plug looking thing. Now ships and submarines have that as well. So when we're running into a submarine contact gained on our radar there, the round screen, the submarine will pick up our radar and he's going to go down. Okay, so where he goes down, they leave a very distinctive wake. Quite a long wake. It's like behind a ship, you know, it goes a long way, and you can tell by the shape of it which way the submarine was going, even though he's gone down underwater now. And obviously we're not going to attack the wake because the submarine is somewhere out ahead of it, so the pilots in the daytime would aim off ahead of it. Okay, and then purely visually, no bomb sight or anything like that, they'd make an attack. But because we do we spend 4 hours at a time during the daytime with each pilot. Well, in the bomb bay, I got 48 of these bombs, which we simulate depth charges. And instead of dropping 6 of them, which would be a bit of a waste of taxpayers' money, I set them up to drop the first and last in a 100-yard stick. All right, so if that's the radar buoy there, a perfect photograph of a perfect attack will be 50-50, 0 line. First one went in 50 yards short, second one 50 yards beyond, 0 line. So that's a kill. Anywhere in there is a kill. Out here, 100 yards support, that's a miss, I'm afraid. That's a miss, that's a miss. All goes into a bombing competition, and your CO's not going to be happy because he hopes to get promoted. What we used to call OBEs, other people's efforts, you know. I said OBEs. Anyway, yeah, the pilots do that during the daytime then. Now at night time, we have another trip, and we book this training area for 4 hours, and we drone round and round and round with all the 4 senior NCOs all having a go, and the officer in charge having a go on radar. But this time it's all dark out there, so the pilots can't see anything. So the forward nav here goes into the bomb aimer's position. If you could just step to one side so these good people down the back, you can see that blue glass down there?
Oh yeah.
That's the low level bomb sight, which is incredibly accurate. But you need an awful lot of practice. If you go away on a fortnight's holiday and come back, you have to have another trip to get your eye back in again. You see what I mean? It's the instant of weapon release is a very short period of time, and you always know when you've missed it. You know, close the bomb door to go round again, this sort of thing, because you've missed the opportunity. You don't get that in real life, of course, because by the time you come round again, the submarine will have been long gone. Anyway, at night time then, any piloting experience, anybody? No? Alright, well we get a lot of airline pilots here, and this really scares them. At night time we're flying at 300 feet, with the pilots are flying on instruments. At 300 feet, believe me, that's low. Now we have a pilot here, Mike, a Shackleton pilot. He was in all day yesterday, so I'm in today. We'll both be in tomorrow. Anyway, he said when you're a brand new student pilot learning to do this, it's really scary. Wow. Personally, it doesn't scare me because I'm in the nose trying to hit the target. But they do an awful lot of this, so they get very good at it. Pilots are unlike airline pilots, our guys are flying it all the time. So they're not like airline pilots. Yeah, how many more?
Put it on autopilot.
It's all in autopilot. Our guys don't have an autopilot. So anyway, it's night time. The aircraft at 300 feet. We're homing in. The forward nav is a bomb aimer. Now I said we have 48 of these. We're dropping them 2 at a time. So that's 24 attacks. So that's 12 for each pilot during the daytime and 12 for each nav at night time. So the forward nav goes into there and he does the first 12 attacks, and we're homing in on radar, on the radar buoy here. At 1 mile, radar calls 1 mile, bomb aimer calls up, flares. You didn't see them, down the back there's 4 6-barrel flare discharges. You can see them if you go through the door, look forward, you'll see them sticking out the side of the fuselage. And they start firing off 1 at a time every 1.5 seconds, out that way, so there's a boom, like a rocket, boom, boom, and like a pow, lights up the sky, and the light lasts for a couple of seconds, and we're firing them off every 1.5 seconds, so you get a good view of the target looking through the bomb sight there, guide the aircraft onto it, and we make an attack, and the camera gets a photograph of the radar buoy, which has got a light on the top, and the flash from the 2 bombs as they hit the water. And that all again goes into the bombing competition. Right, so I've mentioned 3 torpedoes, 12 depth charges. I got 20 sonobuoys like these. Now these are all almost as tall as I am, and about that round, full of valves. All this equipment, if you weren't here when I said it, it's all valve equipment, but very reliable. They're military specification, so they're designed for a lot of North Atlantic bouncing around and heavy landings, all that sort of stuff. So there's loads of these inside here. A car battery down here. We didn't have lithium batteries, you know, back in those days. Yeah. Anyway, I got 20 of these, and if we get a radar contact and we start homing in towards it, the radar, the submarine I mean, picks up our radar, and he's going to go down. So radar then gives me a range and a bearing of the submarine as it went down. Now what I haven't explained so far is